Good day, everyone. My name is Ayo Lawrence. Welcome to another episode of Reading with Ayo. Today, I have an important guest with me. He's my very good friend. He's one of those guys that I can be myself with and be authentic with, right? Today, actually, we didn't even plan it. I was like, you know what? What we're going to talk about today, I'm going to wear my African outfit. And when I came online, he was wearing his African outfit. I'm like, man, this is so cool with the topic we're going to talk about today. But I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hey, Ayo, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Kossi Adubra, and I'm a longtime friend and brother to this great man, Ayo Lawrence. And thank you for bringing me here and talk about something that is both dear to you and myself as we navigate multiple areas within work and home. So back to you.
All right. Hey, Kosi, we had a discussion one time and we're talking about authenticity. And I like my mentor actually, Lee Jourdan, he told me to read his book. So we said we're going to read it together, The Authenticity
Right.
Principle by Ritu, Bhasin. And I wanted to just get your perspective. When you started reading, what did you get out of it?
Well, you and I came from a background that is not the same culture that we're working in right now. And having known you over the years, you strike me as somebody who has been very authentically kept and also very successful at what you do in the business that you are in, managing expectation of others and leading others through. And as a friends and a neat, tight group, a lot of us came with a lot of perspective. So when I heard about the authenticity principle, I just had to see where do I measure, right? How do we really applying these principles there any? Because sometimes I feel lost in trying to get myself heard and even trying to listen to others. So that's one of the reasons why I was so excited to get this book reading. And also, I don't read a lot as enough as I should. And you pushed me to actually pick up a book. So thank you again. Really excited to be here and talking about it.
So what did you learn from the book that you think that can be applied to you at your work and in life in general?
What I learned is it is not a one size fit all. One of the three main personas that she described in the book about the adaptive selves or the performing self or the authentic selves, all were recognized as being one persona, but all have their places in how we advance in our career, even at home and with our families. So you can't get rid of the other selves that we have, even though we said, let's bring our authentic selves to work or to our friends and all that. Sometimes we need to adapt, which is kind of the middle ground that we find ourselves in order to move toward a goal. The performing self is where most of the negativity I learned come from. And I've had a lot of those coming from Togo, West Africa, and having to kind of adapt to the culture here through school and through work. That's when I realized that my energy was really soaked, right? Drains you when you're trying to perform to somebody else's expectation. So knowing that we have to give ourselves permission to be ourselves, we have to accept who we are. We have to learn, what is that performing self and where is that authentic self? To me, that was the biggest learning, that in order to be able to live authentically, we really have to decipher ourselves, right? What authentic mean? Because we've been living through these years just going through the motion without really spending time to analyze, hey, am I me in this moment right now, right? And this book really made me question, wait, if I'm not happy doing something, is that really me or is just me just not willing to learn new things? So this book really opened my mind up to be more self-conscious about the authenticity, about yourself.
Man, actually, I really love what you do, what you said there, because actually when I started my career here, coming from Nigeria here, I was performing for everybody. I wanted to be like the way things was done. My career took its turnaround when I became myself. I became who I wanted to be. I started wearing my African attire to work some days, just to show who I am,
Right.
just being me. And I think that was where everything turned around, because my passion, and that's what I tell about Black people most of the time, is our food is soulful, our music is soulful, and we go to work blind. We are not soulful. We don't take that soul to work. And that is where we miss it most of the time as Black people. That's something. I really love the way you took it. This book had a lot of story. There was one story that I really liked. That resonated with me. Ritu went to like a coffee shop, wanted to buy a coffee, and she saw some people speaking Punjabi. Man, most of the time when we see ourselves, we want to speak Yoruba, but we end up speaking English. I hate that. When I'm around my people, I speak my language. Right. So what do you think about that? I really love that part when she said it.
It is awesome, at least because it came up at the beginning of the book. And it kind of really introduced the struggle that, as any immigrant that speaks a different language had, when you finally meet somebody that you can exchange with. But then I have been here for so long that sometimes I'm like, wait, is it the right time to cut in and say something? Or should I just walk away with my perceived American accent, and make sure that I blend in with the other crowd coming, to that place and talking to them? I found myself very at ease, realizing that I can actually gain acceptance, just being myself and speaking to that, specific instant. And that really called me to say, hey, even with my friends, we came from different countries, and we all have that little nuance in the languages that we speak. But when we speak with that passion, with that original sense, no matter what we said in the, when you guys speak in Yoruba, I may not know exact word, but the body position, the reaction, I can, feel like I'm also in, even though I didn't understand what was happening. So I definitely appreciated that.
Now, one last thing is, I want us to go through this quickly because of time. It talked about Che Kotari, where his parents, wanted him to be something else, and he wanted to be something else. And I have that struggle with my kids right now. Like, I want them to get all A's, but I still want them to be myself. And I have that struggle. Do you have that struggle with your kids as well?
I do. And what the book taught me was that being authentic cannot erase that. Like, what you want as a parent, I'm a parent, you're a parent, what you want should not be pulled back, right? Because of the perceived notion of what people may think, or that struggle. I let the kids see the struggle that I have, right? I want them to see me as I'm telling them, hey, I want to speak in French today, or I want to speak in Airway today to you, or I want you to limit your time on TV and go outside and play. Right. Go run outside. And I'm like, yes. And sometimes I'm on my phone too. And they say, hey, Daddy, why are you on your phone? They are unfiltered. So I take cues on what I'm saying. Am I saying it because I want to have the perception of, hey, I'm African, I have to act African, or, they're American. So I have to make sure they blend in. Right. So I had to give them that little thing at home as well. And I'm like, no, just let them struggle through it. They're going to learn and become the man or the woman that they need to be. All I have to do is set the right stage and be myself, be happy. Show them that I'm happy being myself. And that way, excellence drive through you, Mr. Lawrence. You know it, right? Yeah. From the accolades you may get on at work to the accolade that we give you amongst our friends and say, Ayo, man, how'd you do it? We like the fact that you're consistent, you're persistent in asking us to do things. And I think that's your authentic self coming out. And the passion that you bring. So bring that passion to your kid. They'll learn to navigate through it too.
Yeah. Any last thing you want to say before we sign off?
Well, all I want to say is this book is to be read multiple times, right? I went through it and there were so many options, things that I, agree with, things that I didn't agree with, but it's all about behaviors. Being your authentic self is understanding what your behaviors and acknowledging the behaviors of others without minimizing the impact of difference. So I would encourage anyone to go through it. You don't have to go through the whole book together. That's what I learned. You can pick certain chapters. For example, chapter 10 was about leadership. And that one is really key to me. I'm trying to hone in those skills right now and I'm struggling, right? The title is one thing, but being a leader is another thing, right? So I will very much encourage anyone to pick up that book and just spend time in one chapter at a time and delve through the learning. So.
I agree with you. And I really love what you said about it. I'm going to read it. I've read it 2 times already. So it's a great book. Thank you very much, Kossi, for coming over.
Thank you.
And I'll see you another time. Bye, everyone.
Well.
Bye.